Today we're going to talk about labor legislation. Again, these are laws that are coming about from labor unions and the horrific working conditions that people had in the early 1900s to mid 1900s. So again, as we watched the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire the other day, that's just one of things that started to kind of have this rise of labor legislation, labor unions becoming more powerful, and then laws that back them up. So the first one I want to talk about is called the Norris Laguardia Act. This is 1932. This limits the ability of the courts to stop workers from striking in labor disputes. So it ended yellow dog contracts. Yellow dog contract is the practice in which employers require an employee pledge not to join a union. So again, it ended that yellow dog contract. So in this case here, if I was an employer and I'm hiring one of you to be my employee, then I could have you sign a yellow dog contract that says you'll never join a union. This was ended in the Norris Laguardia Act of 1932. The National Labor Relations Act of 1935, more commonly known as the Widener Act, this guaranteed the right of workers to join unions and engage in collective bargaining. It also set up the NLRB, or National Labor Relations Board. So again, this is one that the Widener Act, it guarantees you, instead of having the companies asking you not to join a union, this says that you have the right to join a union. And the Fair Labor Standards Act of 1938, this provided a minimum wage of 25 cents per hour and a time and a half for overtime over 40 hours. So again, we finally have our first look at a minimum wage in 1938, where it's 25 cents an hour. And again, now you're working 40 hours. Every hour you work over 40 hours in a week, you would get time and a half. So you'd make 38 cents about per hour after the 40 hour. The Labor Management Relations Act of 1947, also known as the Taft-Hartley Act. This prevents labor unions from engaging in unfair labor practices. It outlaws certain tactics like the closed shop. It does not outlaw that union shop though. And this one is known as the right to work. And this is a very interesting Labor Management Relations Act, or the Taft-Hartley Act, in the fact that the right to work has come up recently in our society. So you think about this, in 1947, they passed this right to work. Like, you have this right to work. And where this has come up has been the NBA, National Basketball Association. Many years ago, you have several very talented kids graduating high school wanting to go right into the NBA. Kobe Bryant, Kevin Garnett, Dwight Howard, just to name a few. Kobe Bryant's probably the most famous you might know. But they could go right, LeBron James obviously as well, but they went right from high school into the NBA. Well, the NBA then come out with a law saying that you have to be 1 year removed from your high school graduation before you can enter into the NBA draft. So a lot of other kids coming behind these pioneers of going from the high school to the NBA, when they got this law, they couldn't do that. So they started suing the NBA under the right to work. And I guess they have a legitimate beef in the sense that once you graduate high school, if you want to go work, example, for West Liberty Foods or Morrison Construction or whatever it might be, if they're hiring, they're probably going to hire you. They're not going to say, no, you have to go to college for a year first or do this or do that. You have the right to go to work. And that's what these young men did, is they said, hey, we have the right to work. We want to go work in the NBA. Well, the NBA said, hey, there's a lot of different things. You're traveling a lot. You're 18 years old, maybe 19. You're with grown men out at night in different major cities, and just wasn't right for a right fit. So that's an ongoing battle between the NBA and high school seniors, having this 1 year removed from high school graduation. What a lot of them are doing, it basically was one of those that they're supposed to go to college, but now what a lot of them are doing are going overseas to play and playing that year and then come back in the NBA. So again, here's another example of this legislative act from 1947 still affecting our lives today. The Labor Management Reporting and Disclosure Act of 1959, also known as the Landrum-Griffin Act. This improves democratic procedures and reduces corruption within unions. Unions did become very corrupt. It requires regularly scheduled elections of union officers and voting by secret ballot. So it's very interesting. Secret ballot's interesting now because we have email. I know a lot of us in the WLEA vote via email. Well, it's not secret. You know where it's coming from. And personally, I'm okay with that. I know where my vote is. I know what it's going to. There's been some people that don't like that. They said it should be a secret ballot. Well, the disadvantage of that is then you either A, don't vote because you don't go to a meeting, or you have to go to the meeting to exercise your vote. I like the fact that I don't have to go to the meeting and I can still exercise my vote. I'm okay voting without a secret ballot and voting email. Other people are not. All right, so that is it for the notes for the labor legislation.